What's up guys, this is Legit Strategies here. Today I've just got a video talking about zombies for Black Ops 3, ranging from World at War all the way up to Black Ops 3 really, from Treyarch. So a bit ago people started to notice signs on Verruckt, the zombies map, which was actually part of the first DLC for World at War, and the symbols seemed to suggest that details were already planned since the beginning of zombies for the future maps. And all maps from the Call of Duties after World at War were actually already on the wall of Verruckt. So I'll get into that a bit later, but first I'll just start decoding a few of the actual numbers and symbols that we have on the wall and let you know what they all mean. So one bit of text that we do actually see on the wall cropping up quite a bit says, "Teddy is the biggest liar." So this kind of makes us think that maybe Samantha has wrote this, just because how it's written, Teddy is the biggest liar. It sounds like how a kid would write it or something. But what we do know is that Samantha and Edward Richtofen were actually friends and were about the same age, as this is shown in the end cutscene of Origins. So one theory actually says that Samantha is actually trying to warn all the other characters about Richtofen's plans and that he's going to betray them by saying that Teddy is the biggest liar. As we do know, Ted is a nickname for Edward, and obviously if she is a kid she could just be calling him Teddy as a nickname or something like that. So that is pretty cool, but now I'll get into the rest of the actual video. I may cover that in a separate video and talk about that theory. If you want to see that, make sure to leave a comment. But anyway, I'll continue into this now. So I'll put the original picture on the screen now of some of the actual symbols that can be found on the map. And then when I'm actually talking about the symbols, I'll be looking at an image that a fan has actually redrawn, just to show them a bit more clearly. So the first one we have is in the top is a date. On the wall you'll see the numbers 19382406 and 9:21. The 9:21 is a reference to the Bible verse Jeremiah 9:21. And it says, "Death has climbed in through our windows and has entered our fortresses. It has cut off the children from the streets and the young men from the public squares." And we know that obviously the zombies do climb in through the windows and you can rebuild the barriers and stuff like that for them to get in. The 19382406 is actually a reference to the date, the 24th of the 6th, 1938, which is actually when a 450 metric ton meteorite exploded about 12 miles above the Earth near Chicora, Pennsylvania. The theory is in June 24th, 1938, when the meteor hit the Earth, that it caused a zombie outbreak. Somehow Nazis turned into zombies, and it also refers to a movie, Night of Living Dead, where the meteor caused a zombie outbreak. Obviously, we do know that in Shinonuma, there's actually a meteor outside of the map, which is apparently what causes the zombies to come to life. So the second clue we have is obviously smack bang in the center of the image. It says Hans in big text. This actually links to Franz von Zwack, who actually had his house raided and they found papers with secret codes. And these symbols are actually found on the actual image on Verruckt. So from the code, you can actually find that in the bottom right, it actually translates to living dead. Another translation can be found in the top left, where it says Ohm 935. Obviously, we know that an ohm is a unit of electrical resistance, named after German physicist George Simon Ohm. In the actual zombies story, Group 935 was a scientific research group involved with the creation of most of the Wonder Weapon experiments. They were led by Dr. Maxis and Edward Richtofen, along with Harvey Yener and Sophia. The fourth clue that we have is actually along the left-hand side of the image as well, and it is a hanging man. So there's actually a character in the zombies story called Peter McCain, and he was actually an OSS spy sent to infiltrate Group 935, and he is actually the man that can be found hanging in the Shinonuma map. Also, there's clues on Shinonuma with the radio that actually mentions him as well. A fifth clue that we have is another date. This says 1942-11-3, and this links to Carl Sternheim, who actually died on this date. His first play that was actually published and performed in 1911 was under the title Der Rise, which obviously we know that one of the zombies maps is called Der Rise, so this could be a big link to that. But now I'll get into how the symbols on Verruckt have actually been showing the future maps that we've already had, and that they were already planned out. These are pretty vague and could kind of be seen as not really linked, but they could definitely be links to the future maps. So obviously in the bottom right we have the ghost. This is linked to Die Rise, where all characters die at the end of this map. There's also a bird, which links to Alcatraz and Mob of the Dead, because Alcatraz Island, originally called Alcatraz, I don't know if I've pronounced that right, but it was actually named after the brown pelican seen in the area by Spanish explorers. There's also a foot above a hole that can be seen in the top right. This is symbolising the giant from Origins. There's then a tombstone cross, which could be linked to Buried, which is Leroy's death place in the cemetery. And there's then a tower. This could be linked to Transit, as there is a huge tower that you do the Easter egg in. And finally, we also have a big moon in the bottom left, which is obviously linked to the map Moon. So now we're trying to think of how this could be linked to Black Ops 3. In the centre of the image, you can actually see Test swirling together into a spiral. This actually says nerve impulses generated by the motor neuron activates the muscle to which the stretch receptor is attached. As we do know, the Black Ops 3 theme is known to be cyborgs with the resyncing of brains, and experiments could be seen in the Dr. Salim Snapchats. And obviously motor neurons are a fundamental scientific part of this process. There may be more clues hidden in other zombies maps that no one's found yet. This is pretty cool and kind of makes us think that has this actually been in front of our eyes the whole time? And the guys working at Treyarch obviously had a lot of ideas when they went into creating the story for zombies. And it's actually pretty mind-blowing how it has actually all been there the whole time. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Make sure to leave a like if you have, and leave a comment, let me know what you think about this, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.